He has good top end speed, but I'm not going to sit here and say he's DK Metcalf, where he's going to put the fear of God that he can run past you.
I think in the right scheme, he can be an absolute weapon.
My number 5 is going to be Mr. Treylon Burks out of Arkansas. First off, I mean, obviously the size, I think, jumps out to most people. People want to compliment DK Metcalf. And I do want to throw out one negative already. He has good top end speed, but I'm not going to sit here and say he's DK Metcalf, where he's going to put the fear of God that he can run past you. I think he has good enough where if he sets you up, which he has good enough route running, I think, especially short route running, where maybe he can set you up to blow by you, or the offense can scheme a way for him to get by you somehow. Obviously, like I mentioned, the size, big and tough. He has good hands, and with that size, he has pretty good physicality. Like, even when he gets the ball, he has not just like afraid of running through people, but also he has enough agility where he can make a guy or two miss or do something with the ball. Give him a screen, he can do some things with that, make it a good play. I feel like his ceiling is like Demarius. He reminds me a lot of like Demarius Thomas-ish. He was also kind of a big receiver who had good enough speed to get by, to at least put fear into you, but could do so much more than that. So yeah, that was kind of my comp, was a Demarius Thomas, which I know at 5 is saying a lot because Demarius was a Hall of Famer and such. But at least that's the ceiling. He could be like a Darius Hayward-Bay, who is also ironically in the same draft class, where it's a big guy who has trouble separating. But I really think he'll be fine in the NFL. I have end of the first, probably second round kind of grade on Treylon Burks. Obviously, as a Packer fan, I would love for him to come, but we're kind of desperate, so that doesn't really mean anything. But he is my number 5, Treylon Burks out of Arkansas.
My number 3 is actually your number 5, Treylon Burks from Arkansas. I agree with everything you said. The reason that I have him actually above Chris Olave is, and I will put a caveat to this, I do think he's going to be a little bit more scheme dependent. But like I said, I think in the right scheme, he can be an absolute weapon. He is, I believe, 6'2", 6'3", about that area. He weighs 225, so he is a big receiver. Ended up running a 4.55 40 time, and some people felt a little disappointed by that. Like you said, there was comparisons to DK Metcalf. I thought that was a little bit ridiculous because DK is like one of those guys who looks like he could be the next Randy Moss. I'm not saying he's going to be, but like that's his play style. Burks to me does not feel like that play style at all. He does not feel like the guy that I'm going to send on a streak every play, although he can do that because I think he does have the speed to get away from people. To me, he feels a lot more, and I've seen this comparison a ton, but it's just really accurate. Deebo Samuel, I think that he has that sort of size and build that if you just get the ball in his hands, he can make plays like a running back between the tackles. He can get down and dirty with other players, and he's just going to be bigger than cornerbacks and safeties, that if you can get him past those linebackers in sort of creative ways, he can do a lot of damage. It's not going to be because of electric crazy speed, but his size just puts him above those guys, and he does still have pretty good game speed. Like I said, I know some people were disappointed in his 40 time. I think that in actual game film, he looks a lot faster than a 4.55 40 time. And I think that his speed, sort of unlike Drake London, which is a receiver I know a lot of people are high on, I think that his speed is definitely good enough to get separation, which is still a concern for Treylon Burks, is getting that separation. But if he doesn't get it, he was one of the best receivers in college this past year at 50-50 balls in one-on-one coverage. So I love Treylon Burks. I think that he is going to be a little more scheme dependent than some of these other guys in the class, even guys I have ranked below him. But I think if you put him in the right offense with the right offensive coordinator, he can be an absolute weapon. So that is my number 3.